Apple believed in iPad Pro and they released their own Pro apps for iPad Pro. One is Logic Pro and second one is Final Cut Pro X. Logic Pro is for music making people, and that doesn't trust me at all. But as you have seen my YouTube channel, that I edit all my videos on Final Cut Pro. Finally, I will be able to edit my videos on Final Cut Pro for iPad. I have already downloaded the app, and without wasting any time, let's get into this. So first come first, about pricing. The app isn't free or isn't a paid app. It's a subscription model. Apple chooses the subscription model. I don't know why, but this is there. The price is $4.99 for 1 month, and if you pay for an year, it's going to be $49. It's not too much, but you know, when you are paying for subscription and you are not using it for like 1 month, then there is something behind your brain that, I mean, I have paid like $5 a month for this software and I'm not using it. Anyways, this is it, and this is how you get it. So the best thing about this software is Apple didn't like ported your Final Cut Pro for Mac to iPad. They have built from ground zero for touch interface and for keyboard interface. As you have seen that I have this Apple Magic keyboard, and I can use this Apple Pencil as well to edit my videos. So I'm going to use both of these to edit the video, just to give you a glimpse and how this thing works. First, let's open the window and see how it welcomes us. So here is the main window. Apple is giving you one demo project, which in the beginning you can download it, or maybe you can do it later on from this menu on the right side of your window. Download demo project. But we are not going to use this project. We will make a new project just to show you how you can make your own project. On the left bottom, you have this button of new project. Just click it, and here you can name your project. In our case, we will make it FCPX YouTube video, right? I've already made some projects. We will shift to those, but just to give you a glimpse how these things works. Okay. There is one thing, you can use this automatic setting, which is going to adopt whatever first frame of your video and first footage of your video will have, like frame rate or aspect ratio. Everything this project is going to adapt, and later on every other clip you are going to add in your timeline will adopt the basic project setting. So if you click this automatic, you can use custom. In custom, you have these resolutions, which is like 1080p, 720, 4K, and you can use this custom as well, just to make your own width and height of your frame. Okay, we will use this 4K, and color space, you have SDR or HDR, and then frame rate. You have all major frame rates up to 60 FPS. So when you click continue, it will give you option to import your footage. You can do it right away from here, or maybe you can do it later on in your project window. There are few options of importing your clip. One is from your Photos app. You can import from Files app. You can record directly from your iPad camera, and then you have this option of starting blank. One thing I tell you about this project is that in Final Cut Pro for Mac, we use libraries, and in libraries we make events, and in every event we make different project. But here they have changed it a little bit. They have given library a name of project, and in project we will keep making these different timelines. In every project you can make as many timelines as you want, and the media you are having in that specific project can be used in any of the timeline. I have created the one in this Empress Market project of mine, timeline 1 and timeline 2, and you can access these timeline on the main window by this timeline 1, the small arrow on the right side. We will use this timeline 1 and press edit. So here we are. This is your viewer window. The right side is your project media. There is another tab in project media, and that tab gives you all these options of effects, transition, titles, backgrounds, object, soundtrack, video, and audios as well. Okay, and on the bottom, this is your timeline. Okay, and then they have made one very good thing in this Final Cut Pro for iPad is this jog dial. You see, we will talk about this in few minutes. So let's make another timeline, and we will use this media. We will import it in the timeline so you can see how it works. We add it, and now I will name it for YouTube video. Format custom, 4K landscape, 24 FPS, and created timeline. Okay, on the right side you have seen I have already imported some media, but let me tell you from the beginning. If you press this sign, it's going to give you option of photos and files. So if you are going to attach some external SD card, some external hard drive, and some external camera, then you will use this Files app. Your attached camera, your attached hard drive or SD card will show up in these locations, and from there you will import that media in it. One thing I forgot to tell you about the media, that you cannot edit your videos from some external hard drive or some external storage. Every media you are going to import is going to stay in Final Cut Pro app, and that app will contain everything. So make sure one thing, that your iPad should have some good internal storage for your editing. On the right side, as I have told you, that we have this option of recording video, and all the controls are here. You can change your frame rate, and then you can record slow-mo, then video, and then everything, and it's going to put the media directly inside Final Cut Pro project. And then there is a live drawing option. You can do that. We will talk about this later on. And then there is export. Okay, we will talk about these as well. First, let us make a small project so you can see how everything works. So as I have told you in the beginning, that this inspector is going to work with whatever you are selecting in your project media or on your timeline. This inspector is going to show you everything about that specific media which you have already selected. So in our case, we are selecting this media, this file DJI_0184. Now it's showing us that the duration of this media, and then frame rate, color, and everything. Let me tell you one thing right here, that there is no option of putting your custom LUTs at this moment. So Apple is giving you few basic, you can say LUTs or log processing files inside it. So when you open this drop-down window, you can see there Arri, Blackmagic, Canon log, Nikon log, Panasonic S-Log2, S-Log3, Sony S-Log. So, but they are not offering you any DJI stuff. In our case, let's select S-Log3 just to see how the footage looks. We can close this inspector just to make the screen bigger. In project media, when you are holding Apple Pencil, hovering it over, you can easily scrub over your media just to make your in and out point. But the best thing about it is you open this jog dial, and in jog dial, you select your media, and now you see this is moving. From here, you click this button, your in point. Let's say I want to start my video from here. You take it till here, and then you select your end point. Then you pick this media and drop it on your timeline like this. So now media is selected on the timeline, not on your project media window. If you are going to open this inspector window, it's going to show you different menus now. Those menus are first, it's all about your media, the clip speed. You can increase the speed of your clip, then opacity of your clip, and then blend mode, which we already have in any other editor as well. Then color conversion. If you want to convert your HDR to SDR, then you can do that. And then conversion rate, if you want to make it to the nearest frame rate as well. And then there is second tab, which is all about transformation. So in transformation, you can scale your media, you can position your media, you can lock proportions and auto size and scale to fit. And then you have rotation, then anchor point, center, crop tool, and distort, pretty much everything. And then in the end, you have this effect. When you click this plus sign, it's going to give you few options: masking and keying, color adjustment, blur, distort, and stylize. I believe you can do everything from right side of your window as well, where these effects transition, which are placed under their specific categories. Let's have some color adjustment for this media. You see, now we have color adjustment. It's a very basic color adjustment tool. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like those wheels sort of controls. So here you see you can change your exposure, double tap, it's going to reset. Then contrast in this specific window, then brightness. You see, you can change everything. I mean, black point, warm, tint, in shadow, highlights, and midtones. And let me show you one more thing, that if you are going to use another footage in the timeline, let's say you will add another footage after the first one. So the way it works, that you are going to do it on first of your footage and then later on copy on other footages. And unfortunately, there is no option that you can do it by selecting all the media and copy pasting from one to all of the other. You have to do it one by one on every other footage. How you can do that? In the effects section, press this three dots, copy effect, and then you select this one, and again in inspector you select these three dots and paste effect. Now we have this S-Log3 profile right now on this. DJI footage, S-Log 3 profile doesn't match at all. But for the purpose of this video, when you hover your Apple Pencil, you can scrub through your media, your project very beautifully. It's buttery smooth. And if you want to make some very minor adjustment in your timeline, then you use this jog wheel. It's a very precise one, which is very hard to do with your finger or maybe with your pencil. And now I have selected the place where I think my playhead is fine. Here we have these three options on the right bottom, which we can use. We can cut it from the center and our footage is going to stay there. In the cut portion, we can delete it manually. Second thing is, from here we can select this left cut. It's going to decrease the footage length from left side, and if we select the end of it and we will use this right cut, our footage is all down. And when you are going to press this command key by attaching your keyboard, you will see all available shortcuts with the keyboard. You can learn these shortcuts. Unfortunately, you cannot change or edit your shortcuts like we do on Final Cut Pro for Mac. Other than that, beside Inspector, you have this volume button. You can change the volume of your footage. Then there is animate option. We can change these shadows and give different sort of. We sometimes do in editing, like your text is coming down and like going up, opacity going up and down. You can do everything from here. Then the best thing about Final Cut Pro for iPad is you have multicam option as well. Then we have this option. In option, you can turn on and off this positioning and snapping from here as well. Show controls in timeline. You can turn off these controls or turn on these controls. And appearance, you can change this clip height here, which is very good. Sometimes we need this. Then audio meters as well, and it's going to show you the audio meters on the right side. You can also change this place of this jog wheel. If you are left-handed and you think you are more comfortable using it from your left hand, you can place it on your left hand. You can take it on the upper side of the window, lower side of the window, where it's not going to disturb you, but it's going to stay on any side of the screen. Then there is a pen, and you have the options of inserting your media on your timeline. I have told you in the beginning that there is a live drawing option, and this is a very good option which you would love to have in your Final Cut Pro version or maybe in the Mac version as well. But to use this type of option, we buy some plugins on our Mac version, but here we have it built in. The best thing about it is the Apple Pencil. We can draw anything with Apple Pencil. It's going to open a separate page, and here we can first select our pencil, how wide, which color we want to draw, and let's say I'm going to draw, and here I will write and press mark it. You see? And when I will press done, it's going to make another layer of my live drawing, which I can move anywhere on my timeline later on. And when I'm going to play it, it's going to show like this. See? This is the best thing so far I like about Final Cut Pro for iPad. Second best thing about iPad version is this scene removal mask. How this thing works. Okay, here is my another project which I was trying. I wanted to test this scene removal mask. So I wanted some of my own video. If I put this, it's not perfect at this moment. Apple gave you some guidelines that how you can shoot your video to get the best out of this option. It's like a green screen. The best thing to have this feature function for you properly, you should record your setup without you and then with yourself. With that thing, you can give the reference for first frame means where you are not in the frame. So with AI, it will understand that what is the surrounding of a subject. So right now, everything is all masked out. What we can do, if we put this in, how cool is it? How really cool is it? I mean, it's so easy. If I had to do this masking thing, then I must have done some keying around all my head and everything with all the movement. Now you see, 35mm prime is right behind my head, and everything is working fine. And it's not perfect, I know, but we can make it work, right? So this is the best thing about it. One hand you are like using with your keyboard, and you are using a pencil, and then your fingers. With everything we are using right now, I mean, the speed of my workflow gets very fast. Then you have these whole lot of transitions they are offering you. Then very good titles as well, and some spotlight titles. Then there are different backgrounds. Now the third best thing about it is soundtrack. I never used Premiere Pro, but people are saying that Premiere Pro already have this option. If you select any music and you keep increasing the length of music, the AI will automatically end the music with the length of your footage. I mean, it's doing it pretty fast. I mean, I'm decreasing the size of it. Again, the end of it. I wish that this option worked for the media which I import in my project as well. Let's say we are done with our project. Let's export it. I just want to show you the options we have here. First option is you want to export your video. When you press it, it gives you option, the default preset, or you can still change the quality of the video, and it says audio and video. Then the video codecs. Okay, then the resolution of your video. Then file type. You need MOV and or MP4. It will reduce the file size as well. Then some color space as well. Okay, SDR will be SDR, and then you export it, and it's starting exporting your project. Then you have this audio only. Then current frame means if I want to export some current frame for my thumbnail, I can do that. The last thing, the best thing about it, I can take this project to my Final Cut Pro. When I select it, it will give me only option, include all media. Obviously, I want all media to be exported as well. Then I press export. It's going to do its thing, and it will give me option to airdrop it to my MacBook Pro, or I can copy it, save to files, sync on my iCloud as well. There are a whole lot of options. This is the best thing about this Final Cut Pro. I will not be too harsh on this software. It's just a beginning, but I have to give you a list of shortcomings which are right now not available on this version of Final Cut Pro. First thing, for me, it's sort of a deal breaker because I record every single footage in log profile. Right now, there is no option you can import your LUTs or you can put your custom LUTs on your footages in iPad version. This footage is also I'm recording in log profile S-Log3 on my FX3. Then I color grade my footages in Final Cut Pro or in my editor. Again, it's a deal breaker in that sense. If I want to take this device with me somewhere and I record media, and like vacation, if somebody is going on vacation and he only take the iPad and shot all your footages on in S-Log or maybe Canon log or whatever it is, you cannot finalize your project without using your LUTs. Second thing is not a deal breaker, but it's a stabilization. Whenever we are recording in handheld, some small shot, there are some micro jitters while we hold our camera, no matter how steady we are. Not only handheld, if you are using some gimbal, there are some micro jitters which we treat with this stabilization. And right now there is no stabilization. Third thing is no object tracking. This feature is compulsory with live drawing. If they can implement this object tracking in iPad version, then this thing is really cool. Although when we export our live drawing footage or project in our Mac version, we can do that in Mac version as well, but that's another step as well. If we want to finalize any project in iPad version, then this thing is going to be very helpful. Another deal-breaking thing for me is external hard drive editing option. My iPad is 128 GB. I record in 4K, 422, 10-bit video, S-Log. The file size is really big. So another shortcoming for me is exporting my project from iPad to Mac, but I cannot do the same from Mac to iPad. I would love to have that feature instead of this one. This is also good, obviously, but I would love to have that one because most of the cases I edit my videos on my desk setup. But in the end, when I'm just finalizing my project and just near to export it, I just want to have a very closer look on my project. So if they give us this option of exporting it to our iPad, and I can finalize by sitting on my couch or laying on my bed and looking at everything closely before exporting it, that will be more useful for me. I believe that in future they will implement it. So here is my verdict about the iPad version of Final Cut Pro. It's a very positive beginning, and it's completely a new software Apple launched for their touch-based iPads. Obviously, there are shortcomings which I told you before, but I don't know, using the iPad version is pretty much like I am using something new, but on the other hand, I know what I'm doing, because at one end it's a Final Cut Pro, at the other end, yeah, it's a different thing. And believe me, using Final Cut Pro with my finger or this Apple Pencil or this keyboard, it's totally a new experience, and I really love it. I'm a bit reluctant about this subscription-based thing. I would love that if they have made it like one-time purchase app. In my case, right now, I'm not going to keep this subscription for main two reasons. One is custom alerts, the other one is editing out from my external SSD. These two things are going to limit me using this version of Final Cut Pro. So, and I'm really happy that Apple took a very good step towards right direction, and now iPad feels very promising, and because Apple is definitely taking it serious now. So I guess we have covered everything here. Now you tell me in your comments that how do you find Final Cut Pro for iPad. If you like this video, smash the like button and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. So this is it for today. See you in the next one. Till then, peace.